What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to yet another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing something that is so much better than level 2. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing Bookmap and how I use Bookmap to find trading opportunities. But real quick, before we can hop into the video, what I need you guys to do is make sure to click that like, as well as clicking that subscribe and that bell icon. It would mean the absolute world to me. If you guys do want more Bookmap videos going into the future, make sure to comment down below. And if you guys do find value in the platform, make sure to check out my affiliate link, which will be down in the description. But yeah, let's hop into the video. So basically with Bookmap, as you can see, I mean, this thing looks absolutely insane. So if we pull up regular level 2, so if you guys are day traders, I'm sure you've heard of level 2. If you haven't heard of level 2, I have tons of videos on how to use it. So I will be leaving that link down in the description. So if we're looking at level 2 on ThinkorSwim, we can see that we have this chart right here. So if we're looking at the level 2, the left side is your buyers, the right side is going to be your sellers. And then it lets you know how many buyers are at that area. So if a 2 pops up, for example, that person's buying 200 shares. If there's a 10 that pops up over here, this is your sell side. That means they're selling 1,000 shares. Now this thing is constantly moving. So in order to get good at reading level 2, you really just got to watch it over time and eventually it's going to click. So level 2, very fast paced, but again, you're seeing exactly where these buyers are buying. You're seeing exactly where they're selling. You can see orders that people have set out waiting to get filled, and you can see how much they're actually buying or how much they're actually selling. So level 2, it's a very good tool to use. However, with Bookmap, it makes it so much visually easier to see exactly where these orders are coming in for the buyers and for the sellers. Now on Bookmap, I personally choose to watch the futures because it moves a lot slower. Like if we pull up something like Apple, you're going to see that this thing is moving very, very quick. But if we pull up the futures, we can see the futures are a little slower and you can identify where the buyers are at or where the sellers are at. That's why I prefer to watch the futures. So what I do is I pull up ES futures. So if you ever end up using Bookmap, just type in /ESU22 and it's going to pop up right there. So now with Bookmap, really what I've been looking for, again, only watching the futures, is I really pay attention to these red areas and the orange area. So I actually ended up recording my Bookmap screen today because I wanted to show you guys some of the highlights that I'm looking for. So if we pull up Bookmap, we can see that going into the market open, there were some big sellers at 4135. We can see that because of this huge red rectangle right here and the amount of sellers right here. So these are limit orders waiting to get filled in the market. So 4135 was an important level to watch in the morning. So now if we fast forward, let's go right here. If we fast forward, here's where the market opens. So as we can see, it's starting to kind of just sit in this area, but I want you to notice what happens once we get up to 4135. Now these balls right here, the green and the red, are basically aggressive buyers or aggressive sellers. So as we can see, when we came up into that 4135 level, we had a huge green ball. That was aggressive buyers overtaking those sellers that were sitting at 4135. So now the next big level is all the way up here at 4140. We kind of have a little area here at 4136. So now let's continue. So you can see we're kind of fighting that 4136. We got above it, which is good. And then we end up pushing even more. You can see those buyers are pushing it up because you can see those limit orders are coming up. You can see the yellows coming up. We kind of have blue right here, which isn't too many sellers. Now at this 4139 level, there's a good amount of sellers, but 4140 is a main area. So really what we're doing here is we're kind of seeing, okay, are the buyers holding the level? As you can see, the buyers got taken out by the aggressive sellers. So now let's just keep continuing to go forward. So now right here, what I want you guys to notice was at this 4128 area, or like 4127.50 and 4128, there were a lot of buyers right here. What we can see is we have this solid orange line, which again, those passive buyers, they're sitting there with limit orders waiting to get filled. So if we're looking at the Bookmap, we can see that we came down into this area one time here and then a second time right here. What ended up happening, those buyers got filled on their orders and the S&P futures ended up bouncing right into this resistance area at 4130 before it started to pull back. So now let's continue to watch this. Let's see what happens here. As we can see, those buyers got filled yet again. So if this thing's going to dump, it needs to break below 41.28. We can see there is a lot of buy orders right here. It's getting into that red color, meaning there is a lot. And what ends up happening, the S&P futures ended up pushing up, what is that, like 4 points, which could be a nice scalp, but it came down to 41.28 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and now there are still huge buy orders sitting right here. So now it's coming right back down to this level. So it eventually broke below, it bounced a little bit, and only dropped down to this 41.26 where the buyers started to come back in. Now those buyers are back at 41.27, so we can see. Came down once, hit it there. Now it's in it again. We have some sellers 41.28. Who's going to win? So this is exactly what I'm watching throughout the day when I'm trading in the market. I'm basically watching these futures and trying to see where are the buyers and where are the sellers. So you can see pretty much price is pretty accurate when it comes down to these big orange and red levels. So if we're looking at the S&P futures, we can see that we have a lot of sellers at 41.38 and 41.39. We basically came up to that 41.38 right here before we ended up falling to the downside. Now, as far as support, we don't have anything until 41.30. So now let's continue to push this forward. So now if we're watching the S&P futures, you can see that it came up into that red zone, and what ended up happening, the sellers got their orders filled, and then the S&P futures ended up pulling back. Now let's see what happens once we get up into this 41.39 level, 41.38 and 41.39, and then there's huge sellers at 41.40. So that is also important. There are a bunch of sellers within 1 point of each other, and as we can see, the S&P futures started pulling back. There is no solid support until around 41.34, and then after that, it was all the way down at 41.30. As far as sellers, we have some here, here, and here. Lots of sellers, not a lot of buyers. So again, that 41.38 level was a huge level in the past. It hit it over here, and then again, we have those big sellers right here. Again, they are passive sellers. They are waiting to get filled. There's no support until all the way down here at 41.30, but we have tons of resistance, 41.38, 41.39, 41.40. Now, yet again, we can see that the S&P futures came up towards that 41.38 level. There was tons of sellers, again, not a lot of buyers, and what ended up happening? The futures pulled back. So now what I want you guys to notice, and as we see the S&P futures are dropping. So now we get down towards this 41.32 level, and you're going to see that a bunch of sellers came in right there. So now there's huge sell orders sitting at this level. You can see with the red ball right there, very aggressive sellers. Not all of their orders got filled. So there is a huge amount of sellers at 41.32 and now no support until 41.28. As we can see, the S&P futures kept dropping. Let's continue to push it forward. We came right back up into that 41.32 area where those sellers were waiting for their orders to get filled, and what ended up happening, the S&P futures dropped again. So 41.2850, it looks like there's a lot of buyers in that level. So let's continue to push it forward. As we can see, it tried to break above the level. It periodically broke above it, got above that 41.39. But if we continue going forward, we can see ultimately that it ended up pulling back. So it took out all of these buy orders right here. So now from here, what we can see is there are buyers coming in and they are waiting for that 41.2650 area. So now if we zoom forward or fast forward, we can see that more buyers are now coming into the market. There was a lot of buy orders, 41.2650 and then 41.26. Lots of buyers, resistance, 41.29. We have some sell orders sitting up here, but ultimately that orange and red, 41.32, 41.2950. So now let's continue to watch it. So let's see what happens right here at 41.26. Do they take out the buyers or does it rebound? So it's currently sitting in that area. They got it down to the 41.25. They destroyed the 41.25 buyers. Now we have support 41.24, 41.2350. You can see that they destroyed that because those passive sellers were in control. You can see that by the red ball right there. So then the last level that I was noticing on Bookmap today was actually this 41.20 area. We have tons of buyers at 41.20 and 41.18. Huge red rectangle at that 41.20. You can see we got close once, 2, 3, 4, got down a fifth time. And then I'm pretty sure this marked like the dead bottom of the market today. Let's zoom forward a little bit. came back down yet again, 41.20, came down into 41.20, periodically broke below it, and I'm 99% sure that we rebounded from there. Yes, we did. So that's kind of the basics of Bookmap and kind of how I've been using it in my trading strategy. Again, right now, really what I look for is just those huge red and orange rectangles. Like we can see right now on the S&P futures, we came right down into that area where those huge buyers are at. So we can see 411450, we have a lot of buyers. 4114, we have a lot of buyers. We can see it over here on the COB, which is the current order book. And then we have the SVP, which is the session range volume profile. So if you guys do want more Bookmap videos in the future, what I need you guys to do is make sure to click that like button, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. And again, if Bookmap does interest you, I am an affiliate. So if you guys want to check it out, the link will be down in the description. Everybody have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next video.